All right. All right. Another question. Another question.
I'm a little cold. All right. Question was, what does our personal meal prep plan consist of? That's pretty much it. Just trying to find new ideas and looking at what else is. And I want you to answer this majorly, because you have it down really, really well. And I like your options. I've had some of your food that meal prepped, and it's great. You keep it simple, you keep it effective, and you keep it that it works for your schedule. And I think that's also like where I just want to start out. It has to work for you. If you're trying to do too much too fast, then the odds of you even attempting to meal prep becomes a challenge. I like to break mine down in stages. And that's why I want to preface it, and you can go into like what you prep. But I like to break mine down into shopping, maybe one day after I've organized what I want, and then cooking on a separate day. So I don't feel like I have to figure out what I'm going to eat, shop for it, come home, cook, and then put it all away. I like to kind of like ease myself into the stress of it and just mitigating that to my abilities. But then there's a lot of times where I maybe only meal prep 2 days at a time. And that's just a personal thing. But on to you now.
Okay, so our personal meal prep, I try and share that actually every week. I don't always share what the content is, but I share the picture of it. Chicken, a veggie, and rice.
All right.
And then but how we prepare it differently every time, just to have some sort of variety.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get tired of chicken, so then the next week we'll switch out the chicken with pork loin, or we might switch out the rice with quinoa, switch out the broccoli with mixed veggies, things like that, and try and make variety. The one that's really important to me is my breakfast.
The omelet.
Yeah, the omelet. Yeah.
Delicious.
Yeah, there's something about a breakfast that is 700 calories and over 80 grams of protein that just sets the day off right.
And it's delicious.
Yeah.
And I devoured that one.
Yeah. And we use egg whites, breakfast sausage. I put a little bit of diced potatoes in there and some broccoli, and then sometimes like some onion or peppers or something. And that is, yeah. But as far as our meal prep, it's pretty consistent. Like we just change up seasonings, we swap meats in and out. Every now and then we'll try something different. But we're always trying to go for the lean meats, lean protein sources. So that way we're not getting a ton of extra calories, but we're still prioritizing our protein.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I like to limit the unnecessary stuff. So a lot of times, if it's something I normally would have like shredded cheese with it, like do I want or need those extra calories? Is it going to make me feel satiated, or is it going to add and take away from my calorie deficit? And if so, I might cut that out. Same thing with condiments. I'm looking for zero sugar or zero calorie stuff. And then I like hot sauce is my go-to. Hot sauce will just change any meal up. And I love that you mentioned seasonings, because I hear a lot that people get bored eating the same thing. I'm like, okay, but if you have chicken and you did like a Thai seasoning one time, and then a Hispanic seasoning another time, and then, an Italian seasoning, like you can always switch it up, and it switches the whole flavor profile of that meal. And so you don't have to be a professional chef to just cook some simple basic meals that are going to go a long way for you. You just have to be disciplined enough to actually put in the work to do it. And that's not where I was going with that, but sometimes like we look at what people are doing, and like, man, there's no way I'm going to find time to meal prep all that. But like on average, how long does your meal prep take?
An hour and a half. There's and that's meal prepping for my wife and I, and 5 kids.
Yeah.
And that normally probably like 4 or 5 days worth of meals. But we do have, it's like an unspoken agreement that for about an hour and a half, I will completely annihilate the kitchen.
Yeah.
Blow it up, pots and pans, all these other things.
Like, and chef, get off my expo. This is my dojo.
Yeah. And Cassie's always like, I'll do the dishes.
Yep.
Cool. And then my favorite thing to meal prep on is my Blackstone.
Blackstone, yeah.
Because you have such a large cooking surface, and you can just go to town on several different things at a time.
And see, my smoker's out of commission right now, but easy enough to just throw on whatever protein I want on a smoker or something like that and let it just cook while I can work on my carbs, my veggies, my side items, things along those lines. I want to touch base on like the sweets and desserts, and this may be a little conflicting. I don't know where your thoughts are on this, right? So that's the fun part of this. But I have a sweet tooth, and I love ice cream. I love cookies, things along those lines. And so whenever I don't drink my calories, I like to save them. But at the same time, whenever I'm meal prepping, I know that at a certain point in the week, I will have these cravings for those things. And I try to be proactive with that. And so I come up with other different ways, whether like this time of year, like a really good apple, like a Fuji apple, Gale apple, Honeycrisp, my favorite. Slice that sucker up, almond butter, things along those lines. And I'm getting some good healthy fats, a little bit of protein in, and just getting some good natural sugars. A little Dalzo with a little bit of honey. Simple rice cakes, peanut butter are my go-to. Chocolate rice cakes, 1 tablespoon of peanut butter per rice cake, and a glass of milk, and I'm set. But then there's also some frozen items, Skinny Cow ice cream sandwiches. I like them because they're only 150 calories, they're affordable, and there's only come in a 4-pack. So I'm not going to have it in my house for a week. I'm going to satisfy my craving, I move on from it, and then I go from there. But when you are meal prepping, I feel like people go all or nothing. And they're going to go either fully strict or they're not going to do it at all. And you can't have balance. And we preach consistency over moderation. And I think that's what's worked for me. But remember, it may not work for you, especially if you have binge eating disorder or other eating disorders. Like that may be a thing where you may not be able to have it in your house. So once again, take these things with a grain of salt, listen to your own body, listen to your own routine, and find what works for you. But I love that you have it where you have a protein, a good source of carb, vegetables, and you can cycle through that how and whenever you see fit.
Yeah. Yeah. And it also makes it the number one reason why we meal prep is because we have 5 kids and life is chaotic. And the time that we spend on Sunday doing the meal prep and the cleanup and all that stuff saves us a tremendous amount of time throughout the week. And then it also keeps us from going through the drive-thrus or picking up meals that you have no idea what is in them. And most likely they don't have good protein sources or they don't have an adequate amount of protein.
And if time's your thing, you're still using up time to get in, out, there, back.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. There we go.
Cool.
Perfect. Like it.